Week 5 of the second season of the SPL is finally here, and Playmore is taking on the Miami Donphans, coached by Kyle A., someone I've battled many times before. It's fun to have this matchup, but Tyler, this is one of the biggest games in Playmore history. I'm so glad to have you back. How are you feeling, buddy?
Well, I heard the rumors, and I can confirm the rumors were true. I am sick of losing. In fact, I just took my temperature and I've still got a fever. But the only prescription was a world champion, and that's why we've got Wolfie VGC. Wolfie, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, gamers. I am not sick yet. Hopefully I don't catch something horrible. But yeah, I'm excited to be commentating this draft league match with y'all. I haven't done a draft league battle in, at least a generation, probably like 3 years at least. And so it's kind of fun to be back. Now, I do want to tell everybody that, obviously my co-casters here are wearing suits, and it's obvious to anyone watching that I am not wearing a suit. However, I'm going to stand up and show you my shirt. It says, "I'm never going to buy another horse. Never. No way. Won't happen." And then on the back, it says, well, maybe just one more.
That is incredible, and I'm really hoping that our coach brought Glastrier. Either way, if you want to see the team builder from our incredible coach, the Beneral, that is linked in the description, unlisted. Give our coach a little bit more time to talk, but we know what you guys are here for. This game may decide our season, so you know what? Let's get right on into the battle and see what each coach brought. But before this battle officially begins, I need to talk about the sponsor of this team that keeps the lights on, play-more.store. We recently had our very first official drop with this incredible shirt and this adorable plush. If you get either of these things, both of these things, it goes a long way to help out the team. But enough of that. Let's get into the battle and see how it goes. Unfortunately, from the team builder, there's no horse, Wolfie, so I'm sorry about that. But wait a second. None of those Pokemon are new. This is a first. I can rely on the knowledge I gained back when I got to battle against Wolfie VGC in draft leagues years past. This is great. Well, Wolfie, we're in our bag. This is amazing.
I might have to remind you, but my short says I'm never buying another horse. So I'm the one happy that there isn't even a horse to buy here. Yeah, I mean, these are some classic Pokemon, right? You got Gen 1 Pokemon. Half this team is Gen 1, actually, which is pretty crazy with Moltres, Clefable, and Tentacruel. One thing that stands out to me, by the way, just not to, ruin this beautiful video with talk of Pokemon, but to be a little bit technical, Metagross looks very strong here. It hits every single Pokemon on this team for super effective damage with its Steel, Ground, and Rock coverage. So for me personally, that's something like that I'm really interested in. Is like sussing out what if the Excadrill is like like a choice item or what set it has, and then trying to break through with Metagross.
All right, what we just saw there was really huge. Ben has had a few games this season where he has told us in his pre-game notes, I'm leading off with this Pokemon, sees a different matchup than he expected, and changes it. And I think early into any draft league game, you want to stick with your original plan. You're not going to lose in those first few turns most of the time if you're going according to plan. And as you just said, Wolf, with the Excadrill being such a huge threat, I love leading off with Electrode. Kyle cannot risk switching that thing in, and we should ideally be able to bring in the proper Pokemon to hopefully start punching holes in this team. And I'd really, really love the thoughts on that Excadrill or late in the game, because once it's gone, we might be back. But Vikavolt, plug me in. I will not do that. Tyler, what are you seeing here? What are you thinking?
Well, I love this start if you're Ben, because we know that Ben had put this in his notes. He knows how big of a threat the Excadrill is, that there is no world where they are going to want this to switch the Excadrill in here. And as you mentioned, if we're able to get rid of that thing, the path to victory is pretty simple. So you're going to be on the front foot. You can be more offensive. We've seen so many first turns where Ben immediately has to switch out. Here, I think with confidence you can attack. And for the first time, I think this season we see a first turn Terra.
Oh my goodness, this is a huge Terra because Ben actually, obviously, the clear move here is to go for Volt Switch, in my opinion, because Hisui and Electro can't threaten anything. Ben goes for Thunderbolt in front of Vikavolt. Just 70% to the Vikavolt, and all that happens is Sticky Web goes up. I think that's an incredible trade.
That is absolutely amazing. There's always a chance it could have been Terra Electric, obviously. It wasn't going to be Terra Water in front of the Hisuian Electrode. But this feels like a pretty easy switch into, okay, there are 6 Bubbies on this team.
Bubby.
There could be a very easy switch into that. But Ben making an early prediction here. I mean, Kyle, if he does, the Kyle could figure out this is choice specs, but on the chance he's wrong, switching into Excadrill is still terrifying. So I actually really like this play. You know, how aggressive is Kyle going to be with his win con early on? Let's find out.
Interesting. Going into Tyranitar first here. I think that's surprising. I think, you know, you have the Excadrill switch for free, but getting the Sand up first might just be like more, oh, that looks like a Salt Vest to me. Any agreeers?
A few agreeers in the chat.
It's a Salt Vest, or it's just a lot of investment, because that did not do much.
Okay, now this team that Ben brought this week is super offensive. He did say if anything was going to get sacrificed early on, it would be Vaporeon. I do like sticking to that and bringing that thing in right away. We have 5 Pokemon that really, really threaten this team. We just can't get ourselves in a position where we're too worried about Excadrill sweeping. Obviously, we do a Vacuum Wave in the back, so there is always something to at least hopefully deal with that. But this, hey, let's not beat around the old Vaporeon. Let's bring that thing in. If it dies early. Some people will be upset, but that's fine. Bubby number 6 is here to be a little bulky. Maybe get a flip turn off and gain some good momentum. Now, is that what you expect to see, Tyler or Wolf? I feel like a flip turn into the appropriate Pokemon could be nice, but okay, a little bit of a safe play to maybe gauge what Kyle's going to do here.
What I like most about it is that these moves are being done with confidence, John. Because we've seen times where a turn takes 25 seconds, getting close to that maximum time, and then we see a decision made at the last second. I just love seeing Ben acting with confidence and feeling like he's on the front foot, because we've seen so many battles within the opening 2-3 turns, he's on his back foot, and things just snowball from there. That's the number one thing that stands out to me. I love seeing these moves, whether they've been perfect or not. 2-3 seconds have passed and he knows what he's doing. I love that.
Yeah, I like the Wish play here personally because the Tyranitar is obviously very disruptive. We've seen Thunder Wave, but even with Knockoff, I don't think Ben wants to give up any items here. And Knockoff is most likely the strongest move unless it's something like a Stone Edge. But unfortunately, a big para here. This is not good, but the nice thing is that if I'm correct and this is a Swap this Tyranitar, which I'm fairly certain it is, the Sand turns are being stalled out. And we saw that Kyle prioritized bringing in Tyranitar before going into the Excadrill safely, most likely because he wanted to go for the Sand first. So I think wasting these turns of Sand is nice. I would have liked to see Vaporeon kept alive, but I think at this point you understand that with Terra and with maybe even a Rock Slide coming out for a flinch here, it is too risky. So we are going to see Tyranitar come out. And the big question is, who is coming in here?
Ooh, that's got to be Tentacool. And I really, really love this. No!
That was such a good play.
I was about to say, and Wolf, I know you've experienced this many times, probably earlier in your career, something doesn't go your way with hacks. It's so easy to just try to do it again, allows the opponent to really capitalize on the unfortunate thing that already happened to you. And now you're doubling down on that unfortunate play. You know, going for that secondary wish really could have put you behind. If the flip turn would have worked, everything would be a little bit better. But now, the hard switch into the Sludge Bomb, the poison, all that matters is we get a rapid spin off here. At this point, I feel like that's the only thing that really matters.
We do see this is not Choice Scarf Tentacruel, by the way, because the Sand activates in turn order here. But yeah, I think that was actually, I don't love that play personally of just hard switching in. And that's a case where I think Ben locking in the moves too quickly actually hurts, because Vaporeon's probably not going to be able to switch in again later. I think in that case, it's actually better to go for the flip turn. And just say, hey, like Vaporeon's not going to take like another hit here. Let me just like take one hit from this Tentacruel who probably can't kill and go for flip turn there. But yeah, actually a switch out of the Tentacruel here. We'll have to see what comes in.
That works out as we do. Wait a minute. We see this and we already know that we've prepped for this with the overheat to take this thing out. We have to outspeed. Like no world where we don't outspeed. This could be a very, very quick kill from us. And with Regenerator, I mean, Bubby, number one, is still going to be around and healthy. So really, really puzzling play by our opponent. I don't know what they're cooking, but we're about to cook up a Vinkable. That's what you love to see. That's satisfying. It's been a tough season so far, Wolf, but this This feels pretty promising. I feel like things could not have gone worse, at least I guess luck-wise. As you said, you know, at that point, the flip turn with the Vaporeon could have worked out a little bit better. Somehow, some way, Bubby's still kicking, and we took out that Vikavolt.
I think I was wrong, by the way. I think it is Smooth Rock, and it must just be specially defensive Tyranitar. That kill is huge because, yeah, Sand should have ended at this point. So I think the fact that it's still up means that it is Smooth Rock. So yeah, I think Cycles are really showing its value here, even with the poison coming in and you know, getting like not only clearing the rocks or the webs, but also KOing Vikavolt, meaning hey, there's no more webs for the rest of this game. I think that is absolutely massive. And so even though we're like, you know, Vaporeon has a ton of damage and Cyclizar is really low HP and poisoned, this actually isn't such a bad position. Like Cyclizar can at least heal a little bit with Regenerator to come in and, you know, have the ability to remove, you know, maybe Stealth Rock later, maybe something else, right? Maybe just go for a Draco Meteor. And Vaporeon still has about half its HP as well, and the sand turns are ticking down. So I think Kyle hesitating here is definitely a good sign. It says, hey, like, you know, there's not really a clear good switch here. And with Excadrill hitting the field, Tyler, what do you think this Excadrill is going to be doing? Is it going to be going for like an Earthquake or a Swords Dance or an Iron Head or maybe a Stealth Rock or a Sub? Like, where's your head at with this Excadrill?
I think the aggressive play would be to try and Swords Dance and just hope that really nothing happens. Either A, Bubby's going to tick out and die because of poison, or B, you're going to have to swap it out.
You've got to be kidding.
Okay.
Well, they just switched the Earthquake. Okay, well, at least they didn't go for the aggressive play.
Okay. This is one of the least lucky games I think I've ever seen, but the really good news is, I mean, Ben has just put himself in a fantastic position against all odds. Having Excadrill in at this point with Sand gone is worst case scenario for our opponent. They have to switch. We get a free sub up. And I mean, now what is Kyle going to do about Garchomp behind a sub? I mean, the only thing that outspeeds this on the entire roster is going to be the Latios, which he's not going to want to bring in. And this is the trap we wanted to set. This is what I like to see, guys.
Yeah, this is a huge turn. I think also worth noting is that the Cyclizar outsped the Excadrill, and we didn't see Mold Breaker, so I'm pretty sure that is Sand Force.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that, Wolfie, because I was interested to hear your explanation for how the outspeed happened there.
Huge Poison Jab, by the way, really quick. I'm actually shocked that, what is that? Huh? I don't know what that move does. But I think actually this is a pretty good trade because the sub is still up. That's obviously, it must be a sound type fairy move that, you know, hits because it's sound type, ignores sub. But yeah, actually this is a really, really good position for Ben now because Clefable was the best answer to Garchomp. Now you can hit Tyranitar with Earthquake, you can hit Tentacle with Earthquake, Excadrill Earthquake, Moltres with Rock Slide, and yeah, Clefable's now in range. So I think actually Garchomp is in position to just sweep through this game, and I think Sand Force Excadrill might end up being really, really unfortunate here because it's slower than Garchomp. So might be a Choice Band set, maybe Choice Band Sand Force, like taking advantage of the limited like ground resistances and immunities on Ben's team. But here, I mean, before you can even worry about sweeping with Excadrill, you have to figure out how to beat the Garchomp, and like that's going to take 2 hits because you still need to get through the sub. So I think Garchomp in theory could just clean up the entire rest of this game. There's no Terra, there's nothing that can take a hit. I really am not sure what you're supposed to do at this point.
Well, and the really beautiful thing of Draft League, as you know quite well, like what happened earlier in the season really does affect these matches. You know, last week Hazards really destroyed us, right? And now, you know, at this point, right, we've used so much defensive Garchomp. So Kyle's probably not expecting offensive sub Garchomp, is hoping that Sticky Webs is going to be able to be enough to take us down. Sticky Webs gone, and then the Tyranitar gone with that huge Earthquake, and we still got a sub up. What does he do at this point? He just has to sacrifice Pokemon after Pokemon. And fellas, why did he switch? Why did he get rid of that Clefable? I feel like that was just kind of dead to rights at that point.
So my take of that is that Kyle realizes that he's in an position because again, Garchomp outspeeds and KOs every single remaining Pokemon on his team. So he's probably thinking, okay, like maybe what I can do is, you know, like call another Poison Jab rather than an Earthquake and try and get it that way. We don't know this Excadrill item. It could have Focus Sash, it could have Shuka Berry. Like maybe, I don't know, like maybe he was like thinking about trying to like how to salvage the position because it was so bad. But I mean, Tyler, do you see any way to stop this Garchomp at this point?
I mean, this Excadrill has to have an item, otherwise this is just a sacrifice.
I think it's Choice Scarf. I think it's Choice Scarf Sand Force because it was slower than Cyclizar, but faster than Garchomp.
Yeah, we knew that part, so like now it's just dead.
Yep.
That was your only win con, was to have Excadrill. You set up the sand, A grade on that. But then the sand user's just dead. So to answer your question, Wolfie, I don't see much. I don't understand that combo of plays there. But I think it stems from what you talked about of just being in that uh-oh position of I've just got to make something happen and I feel like I've got to do it quick, and then things just pile up.
Oh. In VGC, that's not allowed. You can't nickname Pokemon after other Pokemon, but also you have to name all your Pokemon different things, so your 6 puppy strategy wouldn't be allowed either.
So both of these teams would be banned, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you'd get an error.
Well, the good news is that right now it's not VGC, and we are in a really good spot to possibly pick up our second win. I mean, this just feels like a culmination of everything that's happened this season finally going our way. I mean, we have not had the best luck this season, and in this game specifically, I mean, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. We're going for a move that can miss. We finally hit. But it's so incredible to not only see this, but also kind of know what other coaches are thinking. We only have one way to get rid of hazards. They're really starting to stack hazards in a lot of ways, to the point where our opponent based his entire game plan on getting up sticky webs and keeping them up. So I mean, it was so close. Bubby lived with what, 4 HP? That might have been the difference between, how this battle has gone and maybe it going the other way. But at this point, we're not even going to have to see what the rest of the team would have done against Kyle A's, as Garchomp, a Pokemon Ben wanted to pick first overall, and I said, no, take Iron Valiant. Don't do that. Garchomp is not good enough to be the first overall pick in Gen 9. Hey, I don't know, am I the fool?
I feel so vindicated, and John, I know you do too, because we're finally seeing attacking Garchomp and not defensive Garchomp, and attacking Garchomp has decimated the entire other team. It just feels good.
It feels incredible.
Something that I want to call out here is that the Pokemon that was on this team to counter the Garchomp was that Terra Steel Vikavolt, who Garchomp cannot damage at all beyond Rock Slide. So the play that actually I think won Ben the game here, like if there's one thing that I want to call out, it's that turn 1 Thunderbolt into the Vikavolt as it terrestrializes, because getting that damage down, putting Vikavolt in range of another attack later on, I think ultimately that was the key here, because until Vikavolt goes down, there is nothing that Garchomp can do. So I think that actually, this battle, Ben gained, and it wasn't obvious at first, but it was a huge advantage from the first turn because of that really risky play that, paid off just massively. So I think that was a really, really smart play from turn 1, and I think it gave him such a huge advantage that, allowed Garchomp to sweep when it otherwise wouldn't have been able to.
I'm so glad that you pointed that out. I'm so glad you were here to witness this, Wolfie, as that play right there, I think, could be the turning point for this entire season. So many games where Ben had this perfect plan. He strayed away from it. He wanted to lead with the Electrode. He was confident that Kyle can't switch into, Excadrill that early. You go for that Thunderbolt. I can't imagine Kyle's expecting him just to go for that and to really possibly almost win the game there, in a sense, after what we saw. It's kind of crazy. Obviously, it's not that simple. You still have to take out that Vikavolt with the Cyclizar, but it's exciting to see this. I know there's some big changes on the way for this team for next week, but Wolf, we've had some long games this season. I thought we'd be talking to you for a while, and we'll have to have you on at some other point. It's great to have you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm efficient. I like to get in, get out, just quick and easy. Nice and no problem at all. Happy to give you all a quick win. These are my favorite kind of games as well, where you have really good prep. You have a Pokemon. You're like, hey, I don't think that they can stop this if I put in a position, and that's exactly what happened here. So yeah, well played to Ben, and I'm excited to see the turnaround of Playmore's season.
It's felt good to be back, but it's been even better to be back for a win. It's been great to be back with Wolfie here. I guess I need to go away for a week more often, then see who else pops up once I come back from being sick. And I think with this win, I might just be cured. And because of all that, and because of the dominance, really from turn 1, like John and Wolfie both talked about, I think for this one, we'll just let Ben have the floor and discuss how he thought this battle went.
Boys, it feels good to be back in the winner's circle, baby. Shoutouts to the champ difference right there. Wolfie, thank you for being here to commentate. John and Tyler, thank you for grabbing a former Draft League player that I am undefeated against. Wolfie, you'll get there someday. But man, that felt good to bounce back, especially with a fat 5-0 like that. I mean, everything just kind of went the way I wanted. You know, that lead Electrode went perfect against Vikavolt. I knew if I saw it, I just needed to lead Electrode because he just can't touch me with Soundproof unless he's Struggle Bug or some physical bug type move, because Bug Buzz just ain't gonna work on me. And I just wanted to click Thunderbolt instead of Volt Switch because he's going to get his webs up, or he's going to Volt Switch himself, or he's going to click Bug Buzz. I never see him going hard Tyranitar there, and I'm glad I did it because I needed the damage on the Vikavolt for my Garchomp, because when I saw no Latios, no Houndstone, I'm like, Garchomp literally just wins when that Vikavolt is extremely low or just dead. Basically just dead, because we weren't doing much to it, especially after Terra Steel. So very, very happy to have that lead start with Electrode, and then, yeah, it went some downhill with some hacks. I was definitely gonna be very upset if it was something that mattered after all of those things were hitting me in a row. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Vaporeon, I tried to heal it, and then after the Para and after losing momentum and Tentacruel was out, I was like, I want to save this sack for later. Forcing a sack so early on is just not it. And I thought Psychozar was going to take 2 Sludge Bombs well. I probably should have calculated it beforehand to see if I, could take the 2, especially with Sand. So thank God he switched out. I don't know why he switched out Tentacruel, but he did. That really just let us start steamrolling because we got rid of Webs, we got rid of Vikavolt, and then boom, bam, Garchomp's in, Garchomp won. Just to speak on a few things that I definitely got confused on, and I know the commentary booth got confused on. He was Sandrush Excadrill, or at least I'm fairly positive he was. He might have been Scarf Sandforce, but I think he just didn't have enough speed to outspeed Psychozar at +1, because we did get +1 speed after the Rapid Spin boost, which is why he didn't outspeed us initially in Sand. And also, I was willing to sacrifice Psychozar there just to get the Overheat chip off, so it's always in range of Vacuum Wave later on from Iron Valiant. But it went perfect. It wasn't like a very intense battle, because once Garchomp got in, it just won. But it was what I needed. I needed a dub, I needed that big differential, and now I'm feeling good, and I am coming back, baby. We are going to go into playoffs. We will make it there. So we're currently sitting at 2-3. All we need is 4-4. I'm going 5-3 though. I'm going for the undefeated streak for the rest of the season. So just be watching out for that. And also, be on the lookout for some trades next week, because the roster is going to change up a bit. It's about time.